All right, so if you've been struggling with conversions with your ads and getting scale out of your campaigns, chances are likely that it has to do with your creative, with the copy that you're using, the imagery that you're using, and how you're setting all that stuff up between your landing pages and stuff like that. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing in these live sessions is going through submissions from clients so that we can go over the copy, and I'm going to explain to you how I would write copy for this particular product or service to improve an already existing ad. So I got another camera on this screen right over here that I'll be recording this down, and I'm going to go through an ad that was submitted by a client, and I'm going to walk you through how I would fix this. So I'm going to analyze the ad first, tell you what parts of it are broken, and then I'm going to go through the framework of a rewrite of this ad so that hopefully that will be beneficial to you and help give you ideas on how you can improve your ads, along with some frameworks that you can kind of plug and play things into so that you can create ads that will sell your products and services. Okay, so now the first thing that I like to do with all ads is I need to get an understanding of the product, and I want to get an understanding of the marketing funnel and ideal customer that we're trying to target with this. So I'm going to turn around over here and go on the screen because I've got some private info from the client over here on my laptop where she's going to share some of that information. All right, so what we're trying to do is offer a product that is $247. It's an information-based product, and we're trying to attract people that are business opportunity type seekers to get them into an online type business. All right, now the product's $247. There's been $350 spent on this ad already, and we've been driving people from this ad that we're going to see on screen right here over to this landing page right here. All right, now the goal here is to get leads within well, I didn't have a goal on here, but I'm assuming that we're trying to get them in a reasonable cost. And right now there had been $350 in ad spend and only 14 leads generated. So that gives us a $25 cost per lead, which is really, really, really high. So we obviously want to get that a lot lower. And we only had 104 clicks for that $350. So there's quite a few issues going on with this. The relevancy score has been as high as a 5 and no higher than that. Okay, so now that we understand the ideal customer, it's a business opportunity seeker. We're selling an information product through an opt-in funnel. We know enough about the product, at least to, in my experience, and the ideal customer to be able to formulate some good opinions on what we would do with the advertising. Now, when we're going to come up with an ad, now since we're critiquing an ad, the first thing that we always want to look at, and I'm going to go back to the screen here, is we want to be looking at the headline. Now, if you study advertising at all, if you read the classic books, you look at anything that's credible on advertising, it will tell you that the headline is the most important or one of the two most important pieces of the entire ad. Many famous copywriters consider that to be the most important piece and consider it to contain all of the selling power of an ad, right? Because there are other elements of an ad that can be really important to serve other purposes, like getting attention, creating congruence, things like that. But the thing that has the largest impact on the sellability of the ad is going to have to do with the headline. That's what most copywriters believe. That's what I personally believe. And that's based on my experience now of spending over $30 million profitably on digital ads, print ads, and every kind of medium imaginable over the years. This has been my life's work. Right? So when I look at the headline on this particular ad, we have how I help Scott determine his ideal life and make it happen. All right, so as a consumer, we always want to look at these things from the eyes of the consumer. All right, so that's really bland, right? What is an ideal life? How did you make it happen? Did you only help Scott? These are all questions that come up in the minds of people that are living in a very skeptical day and age. That's what we all are right now. So you got to put yourself in the prospect's shoes. And more than likely what happened here is this is a very common and modeled headline, right? It's been used in this market over and over and over again. So, as a student of marketing and of copywriting, one of the concepts you really want to understand is this concept of market sophistication. So markets become sophisticated to a variety of different things. They become sophisticated to offers. At some point, offers don't work anymore. That's why they have shelf lives. They become sophisticated to words and phrases. That's why something that worked yesterday won't work tomorrow necessarily. And then they also become sophisticated to tactics and strategies that people use to get marketing messages in front of them. So all of this stuff shifts and changes over time. So if you're playing the funnel hack game and modeling somebody else's thing, you're always going to be a day late and $1 short. And in most people's cases, you're going to be a year late and millions of dollars short. So one thing that whenever you put a headline together, if it's not getting the results that you're looking for, the first thing you want to do is look at, ask yourself, did I copy this off of somebody else? And or have I seen this all over the place before? Because this is a very common headline format and type that's been used on Facebook ads for a long time now. And that's why you're going to have a lot less effectiveness of an ad as if you're using something like that doesn't really convey a unique big idea. Okay? So that's one thing. Like if you want to get your ads to convert today, one of the elements that you need to have is a unique big idea for your marketing hook / headline. And it needs to be something that hasn't really been seen before, or you're making it into, you're embellishing on it. Like you've got, you're actually making some existing idea, like you're making it even bigger, right? Like that's actually something that, when you can take an existing idea, and I was trying to find some way to make this font bigger on here while I'm doing this. If you can take an existing big idea and add to it, then you can leverage that. You can play that copy game if you're going to, add to that big idea. But if you're just, blandly copying over somebody else's already big idea, you don't occupy the mind space in the customer's eyes for that idea. Now that's something taken out of the book Positioning, so you really need to understand this concept as well. And that book's by Jack Trout and Al Rees, by the way. So the way consumers are subconsciously thinking about things is they're exposed to advertising messages. And so when somebody comes into the market first with a message for a product, and they get that message out there through advertising, they now occupy the majority of the brain space of people out there in the market for that idea to that product. And so then every copycat that comes in, they're getting compared to the person that already occupied that space, the person that was first there. So when you come in and you're trying to use somebody else's existing idea, it's automatically not going to work as well as it will for them, and it never will. Okay? So if you're seeing problems with your stuff and you're modeling or copying or funnel hacking or whatever, you need to immediately go to your headline and look at changing your headline, because the rest of the stuff may be just fine. Literally changing the headline can make the difference between conversion and non-conversion, sales and no sales. So that's the first thing you want to look at. Okay, now here's where you got to put kind of your compliance hat on too. Is you got to be careful, like whatever you're saying in your headlines is compliant at the same time. So we got to make sure we're not making income claims, we're not promising specific results in their life and things like that. So, there's a lot of elements we got to layer onto that. But before we put that hat on, we want to just start to try to come up with some big ideas, some hooks and headlines that are going to be more powerful and speak to that ideal customer. So let's dig into this story a little bit more up here, because we can find some interesting information that we can kind of pull from here. So Scott, apparently the Scott guy, he was in the IT business for 32 years. All right. Okay, so I'm missing some stuff in this story. So I'm going to kind of read through the story, and then we'll continue with our analysis here. So Scott dreamed of a different life. Despite evident success, he was bound to a career and corresponding lifestyle that provided. So right away, this is a really tough to read sentence. It's like a college level sentence, and it doesn't really flow very well. And so if it's hard for people to read, they're going to tune out your message right away. People don't need to think about this stuff. No downtime, no freedom, and little personal fulfillment. He wanted more. He wanted to love his work, to merge his work and personal lives. He wanted time for the people he loved, time for himself, and to be free of the constant demands of others. But he struggled to find a way to realize the new life he aspired to because two obstacles stood in his way. Obstacle 1, he lacked clarity on what he might do instead. Obstacle 2, he was concerned about financial security. Sound familiar? What Scott didn't know was that the life he wanted was achievable, and its achievement was possible without risk, because once he was specific about what he really wanted and why, it was simply a matter of pragmatism, a practical action plan to set him on his way, in a time frame that suited his circumstances, one that didn't impact his immediate financial stability. Unaware how to achieve this, Scott sought my support. So there's a few things here. We're being too general in the ad here, first of all, now for the way that the market is currently. And we're modeling a story format that's been out there for quite a while. And we're not getting into any real specifics. Another thing that, was a little bit kind of strange in this particular story was, there was no connection between, why did Scott seek this person's support, right? Like, how did Scott, get led to this person? Hi, my name is Allison O'Leary, and I help people determine and action the lifestyle they truly want. So that reads a little bit weird too. By using a change of career as the catalyst. All right, so here's another thing that's going to be a little bit weird. So, we're being kind of, we're general, we're talking about action plans and stuff like that, but now we're getting into change of career as a catalyst. So, that's a really, big, scary thing that is more than likely turning people off here. If you've got some kind of unique way of doing this, what we would want to do is we wouldn't want to spill the candy in the lobby, so to speak here. Like, what we'd want to do is come up with, we'd want to talk about your how you do this, like your mechanism for doing this, and, but we don't want to reveal that it's a change of career yet, because we gotta sell people on this idea that you're able to even help them, first of all. And second of all, we need to then, if we got to convince people that, that it's a good and safe thing for them to change their career, because that's a really, scary thing for people, right? So I've helped hundreds of people with all sorts of career backgrounds, blah, 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 to define their ideal career. Okay. How did I help? How did I work with Scott? Scott applied my easy to use yet complex and proven. Okay. So here we're using a lot of competing ideas that are kind of contradictory, easy to use yet complex and powerful. We don't want to put easy and complex together in the same sentence. All right, so line is values, strengths, passions, blah, blah, blah. All right, guide him in a perfect career path. All right, identify and remove the mind-made as obstacles. Okay, so, all right, so we got some result here, and it talks about how he feels good. But there's a lot of missing pieces here, right? Like, did he have to go backwards in income? How long did this stuff take? Did he have to go back to school and all this? What did he all have to do? The way that this whole thing is structured is it creates a lot of questions. Like if you're going after, and this is not, I had misunderstood the avatar in the beginning here, so the avatar is somebody that's already in a work field and doing well, and they want more fulfillment, and they want more. They want to be in a different career. They're not trying to start a business for themselves. So like if somebody's a career-minded person, they're going to have a lot of fears in their mind over switching their career. That's why they stick, right? Usually they hate the job that they're in, but they've got their 401k and they don't know what to do about that. They've got their salary and they don't want, and all this time that they've put in and working their way up the ladder that they've had to go through, and they don't want to lose all of that. They don't want to go backwards in salary. They don't want to lose benefits and things like that. Those are like the fears that kind of person is going to have. And so you've got two sells that you need to make here, because you've got to sell somebody first on the fact that they can leave their career for another career and not go backwards at all in their life. In fact, they're going to remove all of the negativity. And then second of all, you've got to sell them on the fact that your system will allow them to do that without having to go back to school and all kinds of other things that they're probably not going to want to do. And I'm not sure about how the details of all that stuff works. But really your ad should be focused on speaking to those pains and promising people that you can help them to get another, that they don't have to go out on their own and be an entrepreneur to have the fulfillment that they're looking for. In fact, they can have fulfillment and still let someone else take all of the risk without having to go backwards in their life. Okay? So that's what you need to be having your ad about. And then in your presentation, you're going to overcome all of these objections and show them how it's, you can help them get another career if they go through your system and, overcome all the objections and blah, 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 blah. Okay? So I think your hook needs to be more in the lines of changing. Your big idea is that you can help people to get a fulfilling career without having to become an entrepreneur, right? So how to have a fulfilling job or career. I'm not sure the right word to use here. Without becoming an entrepreneur. And this is just a general idea here, okay? So you're going to want to play around with these kinds of concepts. Like, I wouldn't just necessarily use this first language here, but this is kind of like a general idea to give you to work around. And so you'll want to write up a bunch of different headlines and different ways of framing and describing that particular idea in a powerful way that is going to resonate with this right kind of person. Because again, they don't like their job, right? But they more than likely aren't going to be people that should or want to be an entrepreneur, right? So how to have your ideal life without starting your own business. Okay. How to switch to whoops. Oh, that sucked. How to switch careers after 40 without losing pay, or something along those lines. Like, you see how it's like I'm trying to give them a yes and then take away some of the objections, right? And so then your story framework here is going to be like this. The intro part is going to be where you introduce Scott and tell about his life before he switched, right? So he's the IT guy. He'd been working there for 32 years. He always wanted to do something different. He was never fulfilled in his career, but he just stayed there because year after year he got more comfortable, and it was harder for him to make the decision to switch, and it became harder and harder and harder. But at the same time, he had more and more and more of this tension building up, and so he started searching around, and it seemed like the only thing that he could do was to become an entrepreneur, and he just did not like the idea of that. He's risk averse, and he doesn't like managing people, and all this other stuff, all the objections, and so he felt stuck and trapped. But then he started searching around, and one day he stumbled across this idea from me, right? And what he learned from me is that he can, and me being Allison, what he learned from me was that it's not too late to actually get a fulfilling career where you don't have to go backwards in salary, where you don't have to worry about, your tenure there and how long you've been there, and on and on and on. There's all these, you take away all the objections, right? And Scott had decided after checking out all my material and learning about my processes and systems, he decided that he wanted to hire me to get my help with making that kind of switch in his life. And then here's the results that he got. Scott managed to, within X number of months or within X number of days, he managed to leave his previously unfulfilling IT career, and now he's in a completely fulfilling job. He's got time to spend cooking and gardening. He goes on walks with his wife. He spends his free time sailing. He's no longer under all this stress and pressure. He's really finally achieved that true balance of life and work. Blah 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 blah. Right now, and then you go, and so that's where you've got so after the intro, then you transition to how he found you. Okay, and then it's explanation of the results that he had. And the time frame. Okay, so we introduce Scott, tell about, this is the pain. So this was the pain that he was in, and that's the pain that your existing customer was in. That's why we tell a story like this, is because we want that to resonate with them. We want them to, feel, because they're already in it, right? And we want them to know that, Scott's been there, you understand that, you've been there. And you can empathize with them, right? So then after we develop the pain, we transition to why and how he found you, and you being the product owner if you're, selling your own services like this, or products. And then after that, we explain the results that he had and the time frame that he got them in. And as we're explaining this, we're giving the benefits and taking away the objections. Okay, so that's when we explain all those things like that. That's what we're doing is, each one of those things is a benefit that he's getting. Like when we talk about how he has the time to cook and clean and walk with his wife and sail. He no longer has to go to, pointless meeting after meeting, having the high stress. We're taking away all those objections. Okay. And then what we would do is we would then do a transition to the offer. Okay. And that is basically, the offer is for them to come learn the system that Scott used to get these results. We got this, so after we explain all the results that Scott got, then we can say, hey, is that something that you're interested in too? That's how we start that transition. I mean, would you like to have this in your life too? Well, here's what we got for you. If you come over to this, click this link, you can go over to this page and you can register for this training we put together. We're going to walk you through the whole system. You'll see how it works, and you can decide if this is something that may help you do the same thing that Scott did, right? And then all you got to do is click over here, go register on the next page, and there we go. And so that's your transition to the offer, and then you got your call to action. Okay. So you see how it really, you gotta really understand the ideal customer and the things that are going on in their mind, because once you understand that, then you can take some of these things that you can model and you can then specify them to your situation, and you can make them unique and turn them into a big idea that will actually get conversion and produce the results that you're looking for. Right? So go ahead and use this to put together ads that make money for your business. To the victor belong the spoils. This is Jason Hornon.
All right. I hope you found that video to be helpful in creating and scaling profitable ads for your business. You can go ahead and use what we talked about in there to model and implement new tactics and strategies into your business, and that really is the difference between winning and losing the paid ad game. You see, after profitably spending over $30 million over the years, generating over $100 million in sales for my clients, I've seen everything when it comes to profitably scaling campaigns, and I can tell you that right now, in today's day and age, that a course is not going to give you the solution that you need to scale and make the most money out of your ads possible. As an advertiser running ads today, what you need is help with answering the question, what do I do now? That video that I just showed you was a response to one of our clients inside of our Academy of Advertising Profit Society. And that is our program that we put together specifically to help advertisers like you to answer that question, what do I do now? The way that it works is that we can give you customized solutions to your specific issues that are preventing you from scaling your campaigns and making the kind of money that you want to make. And for the right person, I can actually guarantee your results. That's right. This is like nothing else that you've ever seen out there before. I can literally guarantee your results, and I can guarantee quite a bit of results for you if you're the right person. Now, like I said, this isn't for everybody. So if you're interested in being able to leverage the strategies and the systems and the processes that are based on my past experience and the current experience that me and my team have running ads right now at scale for big name clients and ourselves, then go ahead and click on the link that's below here. We're going to have links all over the video here, and you can learn more on the next page. And if that's something that you would like to take advantage of, we've got a special offer for brand new clients, and you can enroll, and we'd be happy to help you to solve that question over and over and over again. What do I do now? What do I do now? So we get your campaigns to the profit promised land and just keep them there for as long as possible so that you're making money and feeling good and having the lifestyle that you want on your business, because that's what this is all about. Okay? So go ahead and click, learn more on the next page. I look forward to helping you. To the victor belong the spoils.